Welcome to You Gotta See This Movie. This is a podcast about two guys who love to talk about movies as well as explore the deeper themes and make these stories more than just a movie. I am Michael, and as with always, here is Jim. Jim, how you doing today, man?
Doing fantastic.
All right. Well, this is a special day.
It is a special
It's a special day because we are getting into, I think, both of ours favorite movie. One of our favorite movies of all time.
Of all time. It's up there.
Yeah. But before we talk about that, we just got done seeing The Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
Indiana Jones, his final ride, Dial of Destiny. And here's your warning now, audience, to the thousands that listen to us. If you have not seen Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny, maybe to skip ahead.
Skip ahead or just stop the podcast, go see it, and then tune in.
That's what you should do.
That's what you should do.
Go see it.
Go see it. Because we're going to ruin it for you.
Because we are going to ruin it.
Big
We're going to talk about some spoilers. We're going to talk about what we like, what we didn't like. But ultimately, man, Indiana Jones. All right, there's your warning. But let's get into it.
Okay, so we've been putting this off for a week because we both seen the movie.
We both saw the movie.
And of course, we'd like to talk about it right away, but we've been holding back all week for this very moment.
Yeah.
This very moment.
It's like a kid waiting to open presents for Christmas.
That's right.
Because I've been waiting. When you went and saw it, I saw it first. Didn't want to talk about it. Wanted to wait for you. Mm-hmm. Then you come back and you're like, I don't want to say nothing. I want to talk about it on the podcast. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So let's get into it. Let's, do you want to go first? Your likes, dislikes?
No, you go first.
All right. Okay.
You go first.
Well, 100% I am glossy-eyed when it comes to Indiana Jones. So no matter what, I'm always going to lean on the side of I loved it. Okay. I liked it. But of course I did have some things about the movie that I didn't really care for. And but ultimately I loved it. I mean, look, they could make 100 more of these movies and I'll go see every single one of them. So I ultimately liked the movie.
Okay.
But I can understand why there might be some people that do not. So.
Okay, when you walked out of the theater. Mm-hmm. Okay, first off, I don't know this about you. Do you sit through the whole credits of a movie? Like when it's done, do you sit through the whole thing?
I do not, but I did with this.
Okay.
Not because I'm waiting for a scene at the end of the movie, because that's like the theme now. But I'm not going to lie. I got emotional. This was it. I'm never going to see Indiana Jones again. And
maybe big spoilers.
So.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I think he's over. And he's getting old, man. I mean,
that's a point that we had to talk about. Is that?
Yeah, Harrison Ford, man. That's gonna be a rough day.
Yeah.
But so no, when that movie ended and the music started, I just sat there.
The whole thing.
I waited for the Indiana. I didn't see the whole credits, but I sat and my kids. I took my.
The kids want to be able to stand.
They were just like, all right, Dad.
They're
like, all right, Dad, let's go. And I'm like, no, I'm like, kids, just take it in, just listen to the music.
Yeah.
And they did. They sat there, but no, I was trying to process it because it was just, I was like, man, this is it, and this is like my childhood hero, and I'm done. It's gonna be like losing a grandparent.
Okay, so you sat through the credits. It's completely over. You walked out of the theater and you were like, wow, that was great, or dang, that was good.
Man,
I'm going to go back and see it again.
I don't know if I had those reaction. It was just more of like that's it. It is more of, I guess I walked out of the theater more feeling loss than I did oh, that was great. It was like that's it. And it wasn't a loss of that was a disappointing way to go out, because I feel like the story, it is what it is. That's how it is. It was more of a yeah, I'm just sad, and but ultimately I liked the movie, and I liked the story.
Okay, so I went into the movie no expectations whatsoever, none whatsoever, and a big part of me was like, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna like this no matter what, and I got out of the theater, and my son's like, he's oh, I loved it, it was great. Dad, did you like it? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Because I really couldn't, I didn't really process it yet. Even though I sat through the entire credits.
Yeah, I just felt like I wasn't processing.
And I felt like I kind of need to see it again to formulate an opinion.
Yeah.
Which, to me, that tells me that I didn't like it, because there are movies that you leave and you're just like, wow, like Super 8. I left that theater going, man, that was great.
That's true.
And Star Trek, what was the first Star Trek? The 2000.
J.J. Abrams.
The J.J. Abrams. Walked out. I was like, man, that was awesome. But this movie, I was just like, man, I don't know, because there was a lot of really cool things in it, and there was a lot of just really like, oh, come on, things in it. So I'm gonna buy the DVD.
Of course.
I'm gonna add it to the collection. I'm gonna see it again. I didn't like Crystal Skull when it first came out. I thought it was silly. I'm kind of warming up to it now. So I might have to warm up to this one.
Yeah, Crystal Skull is kind of, it's aged well. I feel better than it did when it first came out. But I remember being a defender of Crystal Skull too when it came out, because I'm just like, no, it is good. And but deep down in my heart, I'm like, I guess it could have been a better movie, and there's some things about it. But I kind of like Crystal Skull, and I like this one too. Yeah,
so. It's I love the story. I love the opening's great. I mean, the stories are really good. I like that they found the dial. It's mathematical. Finding time points to a rift in time where they can time travel and going back and to the wrong date. Oh no! And everything was really cool. I think for me, it's when it gets too cartoony. When the action gets too cartoony, to where you can suspend your belief for a lot of things, but when it's so over the top that you're just like, come on, no, come on. Like the chase in the little taxi cars like that. It's like, these are little 10 horsepower cars. They don't go fast.
Yeah.
And the chase scene was just getting ridiculous. But not to say that I might go back and watch it again later and just go with it and have a good time, but just right out of the gate, it's just like, this is too much.
See, I feel like that kind of stuff is throughout all the movies.
Not to the extent. I mean, because we just watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, it's so over the top. And then when the action comes at you so fast and nonstop, your mind doesn't have a chance to process anything you just saw. And so it's like, what did I just see? And then the next thing happens, and then the next thing happens, and the next thing happens. And then you get to the end of the movie, and you're like, did I like that or not?
Yeah.
And that's what it was with me.
There is a pacing thing.
It's a pacing thing.
But going back to the silly thing, I mean, you think that's more or less believable than when Indy doesn't have a parachute, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to take this inflatable boat out. I'm going to fall from an airplane.
Yeah, but it's plausible that it acts as a parachute and floats to the ground.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
He's dodging a train and a subway on a horse. Those quick moments. It's too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, and then the other thing about the movie too, I was just like, you want a likable character? His goddaughter was just annoying.
Oh, see, I liked her.
See, and I didn't like her. I didn't like her at all. She was a liar and a cheat, and always just I just didn't like that character at all.
I liked. Well, okay.
I don't think she ever came around either, right? She never like teamed up with him. You always thought she was going to get him somehow.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
She came around. I mean, I would think like just the fact that she saved him, because she's all about herself.
Yeah, she did save him.
And then at the end, she's like, I'm out. Okay. I need you to come with me. But and this is going to go into what I'm going to talk about later. But I liked her because she wasn't like a female version of Indiana Jones. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was that story, there's a story, not the storyline, but Indy does say that, hints that like, look, you might feel this way now, but there is still something about you, with the whole archaeology, because her whole thing is that she knows all this archaeological stuff because she finds it and sells it. She's all about the money.
Yeah.
But he did say, but you don't, he says, but you didn't memorize all your dad's books because you want to make money. Like he knows like there's something in you.
Yeah.
you know. But I liked her. To me, it was like, wow, this is what would it be like if Indiana Jones met Han Solo, because she was very Han Solo-ish.
Yeah, I guess. Now, what about her sidekick, the little kid?
Yeah,
Did
great.
you like him
she
too?
got it. Yeah, I there's very little that I disliked, and I'll tell you what I disliked.
Okay, what did you dislike?
So the fact that Steven Spielberg did not make this movie, and it shows and it tells. And I think had he have made this movie, I think this might be, for me, I mean, I don't know. It might, I mean, nothing's going to rank higher than Raiders, but it might be up there. I still don't know where I ranked Dial of Destiny, but
do you think you would have dialed it down a bit? Like
I think so.
Had it made it so sensational, because I think what Spielberg does is he actually brings heart to the characters. And I think that was missing.
It was.
I think it was missing in a lot of. It was very cold-blooded. A lot of the
yes,
and those guys that were killing. It's like, okay, you kill the bad guys, you kill the guys that are fighting, but when they kill just willy-nilly office workers, I thought that was too much.
I thought it was too.
And I would think that Spielberg wouldn't do that.
It was out of place.
It was out of. It was very out of place.
Yeah, and like I mean, in the Indiana Jones movie, innocent people do die.
Yeah,
but you never see it.
Yeah, it was
like Spielberg does it from like the barrel of the gun of the bad guy, and but you never, and like very rarely does like Indy's associates, allies get gunned down for helping him.
Yeah,
and that was like, it kind of was jarring.
Yeah,
but so that was one of the things I didn't like about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, and this is because me and my kids were watching all the Indiana Jones. These are small little ticky tack things, but
no, that's fine. But
these are the things that make me like, this is an Indiana Jones movie, right?
Yeah.
So me and my kids watched all of them leading up to the movie. And one thing that we liked is that in every Indiana Jones movie, the Paramount Mountain leads into the next scene, right? Mm-hmm. Or to the first scene.
Yeah. They
didn't do it. And my kids were like, what? You know, there was the mountain didn't change into anything. Yeah. So that was a bummer. Mm-hmm. The other thing was, at one point, I thought they were going to skip the whole plane on the map, because he gets on the plane
and that looked really good,
and he has a flashback.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, what? They can't do that. That's what makes Indiana Jones movies. Let me see the travel.
Yeah,
and they eventually did it with the train, but
well, there was a plane one too.
No, there wasn't. It was just train, but it was the same thing.
Okay, yeah,
get it. So there's that. What was the other one? That make it Indiana Jones movie. Every Indiana Jones movie, the villains die with a very horrific death that is brought about their own demise. Right?
Right.
The guy just dies in a plane crash. I mean, it was like,
oh yeah,
there was no
the plane just went down.
It just went down to crash. I mean, I guess it was his own demise, but it was like, that's how the villain went out. I mean,
he should have gone out by jumping through time and then like getting eaten by a dinosaur.
Yeah, but let's be real.
Yeah.
He should have died when he got hit by that pole in the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Who would survive that?
Yeah.
He did, I guess.
Yeah.
But to me, that would have killed him more than a plane crash, because the other people survived the plane crash, but he didn't. Anyways, so there's that, and then the people dying, it just didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie. Just felt weird. I feel like there was another thing, but I can't really remember.
What about the diving sequence and the eels and stuff?
I liked that.
That was cool.
That was cool. That was different. We've never seen Indiana Jones
I didn't like the whole bit about her fiance in Morocco. Was like, you like, were they going to get married, or he was his wife or something? I thought that was really out of place. Like,
you know what it was? You know what I think it is because I think Disney was going to push hard on her character moving forward.
Yeah.
Because there was supposed to be an Indiana Jones TV show. And even though Harrison Ford was done, I really do think she was going to pick up the mantle of not necessarily being Indiana Jones, but being her own thing. And I really do think they were kind of setting her up for that.
Trying to develop her character more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so those are the little things for me.
The movie started off great.
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of like the chase and the action that was just like kind of overblown in the middle. It really took off for me when they pulled the plane out to do the trip back in time. That was super cool.
Yeah.
It was dumb that the kid was flying the airplane, and when he was in the Moroccan casino or whatever place that was, and he was practicing how to fly a plane using the cans and the coasters and stuff. I'm like, this is dumb. He's gonna need to fly a plane sometime later in the film. That was too easy. And the time jump was cool. And they ended up in the wrong time. And I knew exactly. Oh, I know those ships. Those are ancient. Yeah. And then when the spears came through the fuselage of the plane, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. And they're calling them dragons. They're like, oh,
yeah,
they've got dragons.
And what seems silly is why didn't they just fly up above the range of their flying arrows? They just keep getting hit.
Unless they were just like, we're totally.
But that's a movie thing, so that's fine. Yeah. But one thing that's notable about this movie is this is a breakthrough movie. This is like when Jurassic Park came out. When Indiana Jones showed up on screen at the beginning as young Indiana Jones, and you could not tell it was CG.
Oh,
it's like they nailed it.
They did.
And it's like, boom, it's all over. It's all over now. You don't need actors anymore because they pulled it off. They pulled it off. You can usually tell. Like, remember Princess Leia? And I was like, nah.
It was good, but not great.
Yeah, and Grand Moff Tarkin. It was good, but not great. But man, I don't know. Did you have a sense that it was fake?
I think there's some of the action scenes, like the really fast one, but when they first showed him, it looked really good.
He looked really
the only thing
good.
is they didn't de-age his voice. He still had his old Harrison Ford raspy.
Yeah, I didn't really notice
voice. Yeah, my kid did. And he's like, oh, why does he sound so weird? I'm like, we don't got that technology yet.
No, this is like breakthrough. This is like, you guys did it. You finally did it. And so now they could just keep doing old Indiana Jones movies. They could, right? Because they nailed it.
I don't think they will, but I think it could.
They could. And it was long. It wasn't like just a quick flashback moment. Oh, he's young. I mean, that
he was there.
He was there for a long time fighting and breakthrough.
Cool.
I was like, whoa.
All right. Well, I still don't know where I rank Dial of Destiny as far as in my indie movies. I don't know yet. I want to watch it again and see it again. And
yeah, I mean, for me right now, it's on the bottom of the list. I'm gonna have to see it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your ranking then?
I don't know. I don't know where to put it.
Well, besides this one, what is your?
I mean, obviously, I like Raiders. Temple of Doom's number 2.
Okay.
And then I'm really torn between Last Crusade and Crystal Skull. I almost think Crystal Skull might edge it out a little bit as of today. Because I do like that whole. I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot about Last Crusade that was kind of boring and dragged out a little bit. And then I've told you before, I have a problem with the old man at the end.
Yeah.
That to me, that's silly. Like, really, the guy just sat there. Like, I would have liked better if he just became a ghost and then appeared. But because he physically sat there and been waiting for someone to take his spot
to guard
the thing.
Had like a little camp set up, and
it just seemed
he's just sitting there.
You vanquished me. Now take my job, which Indy didn't.
Okay. Okay. Well, I officially ranked my movies.
Okay.
And Raiders is on top, obviously. All right. And I put Last Crusade as my second.
Oh, okay.
And and I started thinking about it. Like, whenever I go to the old original trilogy, I always have a tendency to pull that one out for some reason. I don't know. There's just scenes in it that I really like. And then Temple of Doom after that, and then Crystal Skull after that, and then Dial of Destiny. It's on the bottom. Right. It's on the bottom. It's on the bottom
as of today. Good change.
And I actually have another movie I might want to throw into the mix. It's that. And actually, I just bought it today on Amazon.
Oh.
It's the Raiders' greatest fan film ever made.
I do want to see that.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't. I've seen previews for it.
Okay, so listeners, if you haven't seen the Raiders' greatest fan film ever made documentary, you absolutely have to see that. It is amazing.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, it's basically the story of these kids in high school, and they did a shot-for-shot remake of the entire film, and it's awesome.
It took them years, though, right?
Years, yeah. And they did all the sets, and it was cheesy. It was like, we almost burnt down my uncle's basement, that kind of stuff. But it's an amazing documentary. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, now that we're done talking about Dial of Destiny, Jim, what is the movie that we got to see?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Was it titled Indiana Jones? Is it Indiana Jones or is it Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's like the official title, right?
And I'm going to tell you right now that there have been, I don't know, moments here at the church or with friends that I've gotten heated over that argument where someone will be like, name this movie and be like, oh, that's Indiana Jones. And I'm like, it's not Indiana Jones.
It's Raiders.
It's Raiders
of the Lost Ark.
Of the Lost Ark. And I will die on that hill. Like, don't call this movie Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
The only reason I questioned it, because I agree with you, is because I saw on something, it was a DVD.
Yeah. Okay.
Indiana Jones. Yeah. And then in small letters, it says Raiders of the Lost Ark. Check this out.
Throw that away. Get the 4K edition.
Because this is correct.
That's correct.
Because you got Raiders on the title, not Indiana Jones on the title.
And on the spine. See?
Very good. Okay.
Very good. All yeah. Right.
Oh, look, and even the movie soundtrack.
There you go.
Raiders.
Yeah, see?
It's Raiders, see, they know. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh, that's not.
That's Temple of Doom. Then they started doing Indiana Jones. So every movie then after Raiders was Indiana Jones and.
That's because everybody just called it Indiana Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Jim, you probably have a better personal history about this movie than I do, because I don't honestly, it's like Star Wars. This movie has been in my life as far back as I can remember. I don't remember our first time seeing it. I just remember it being in my life and me loving it. So
yeah, there are very few movies that I remember, well, older ones that I remember seeing in the theater. And this one was like huge. It was 1981, freshman high school for me. We drove into Pasadena. My friend drove. Obviously, I wasn't driving yet. And we went to the theater. It was a double feature. It was Airplane and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
So we watched Airplane, laughed our butts off, the high school kids, and then Raiders came on. And right out of the gate, we're like, whoa, oh man, this is cool. And we were just blown away by the film. So much so that we came back the next weekend, sat through Airplane again and Indiana Jones again. And
that's cool.
It was all over after that. I mean, it's just such a good movie. And then just watching it again last night, it's still the best of all the films. It holds up beginning to end. It's just an amazing film.
Yeah. There are some movies out there where I wish so 81, I was born, and this came out, I think it came out in May, right? And I was born in May. So, my life and that movie are really closely knit together.
You have a birth connection.
I have a birth connection to the movie. And so for me, it was, my parents saw it. And then when I got old enough, they're like, you got to see this movie. This is one of those movies I wish I can go back in time and experience the theater. I mean, I've seen it in the theater, but I just for to do it, but to experience it for the first time again in the theater, because like Star Wars, like the opening shot with the ship going over, this is the same thing with him, being in the jungle and that scene where, and I love it because it's like there's the buildup, and it's in all the movies, the buildup of when Indy gets revealed, right? Yeah. Before you're just following, you see him in the shadows, you see him back, you see he's a leader, he's like, shh, quiet.
Yeah.
And like you see the reaction of everyone around him, and then all of a sudden he steps out of the shadows and you see Indiana Jones. So yeah, man, I wish I can go back.
Just so good. And then every moment, the moments that they were huge, like, going into the cave, the spiders, and getting in, everything. I mean, just every little moment, every little step was just so cool.
Yeah. So for me, like you said, you're freshman year, so you probably weren't like, you're probably a little bit old. But for me, like when we're with all my friends and we're playing, we're choosing who are we going to be, we're going to be Indiana Jones, or we're going to do things with like Indiana Jones. We're going to get a whip, I don't think there wasn't any toy merchandise for that movie.
No,
at least I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But there was a Temple of Doom. And I remember me and my friends, we had a bunch of those figures. But
now 83 was kind of, I think I read it was a big video. Like you could buy the movie at that point. You can actually buy a copy of it. And then they sold a bajillion of them because they
Yeah.
They priced it just right, and everybody had a home copy of it. And that's that's the movie on VHS that I just wore out just over and over again.
Yeah, I was trying to think because I just recently bought this edition, this nice 4K Steelbook edition.
Steelbook?
Steelbook.
Is that a metal case?
Yeah, it's a metal case.
Oh, I didn't notice that was a
These
metal
are collector's
case.
items.
Oh, look at that.
So I just bought that, but I remember buying it and thinking, this has to be the last time I buy this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because how many copies?
Because I have gotten. Yeah, I remember that I had my original copies, and then I remember they released another set. I remember it was like yellow VHS set, and it also had like a video of young Indiana Jones. I'm like, well, I need that.
Yeah.
And I remember getting that for my birthday, and then having that forever, and then getting the DVDs and the Blu-rays, and
now this is. I'm trying to think, what would they add to make it like, oh, I got to get this version now. But this is all updated though, right? This is where they went in and fixed stuff, because I know like on the VHS, like for example, the rolling boulder in the beginning, you could see the pole sticking out of the side. And
I don't think they do that.
Okay.
I think this is all more film restoration.
Okay.
And more like, because that's one thing about, 4K, like when you get all these new Marvel movies, anything like special effects driven nowadays, you don't need a 4K for that. A Blu-ray is probably as good as it's going to get. But these older movies that get transferred into 4K, they just look amazing.
Yeah.
They bring out the color, but yet it's still kind of dull, or it's not overwhelming. So Raiders looks amazing with this.
You know what I noticed for the first time, because I actually had it pointed out to me, and I know I've seen this movie well over 100 times. At the end of the movie, when Belloq's head explodes, it's the hot dog fingers. He has the hands on the side of his head, and then when the head explodes, the fingers just look like hot dogs. And they're
really?
Flapping around, and it's the silliest looking thing.
That.
But I probably never noticed it on VHS.
Yeah.
And I never really noticed it casual viewing until somebody pointed it out. My son pointed it out to me. It was just like the hot dog thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Quick rewind. Yeah, sure enough, it's hilarious.
That's funny.
But it doesn't ruin it at all. It's just funny. It's it's great. Yeah.
All right. So what are your lovable, like must see, scenes?
Must see moments.
Yeah.
God, there's so many of them.
There's so many.
There's so many of them. There's obviously when he's getting the idol in the beginning, and he's kind of figuring out how much it weighs.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Okay, but the thing is, right? If the podium drops, is that because he put too much weight on it?
Yeah.
So then why did he just take it off then, and then it wouldn't have sunk? Because what would have been?
Well, he knew it had to be perfect, because then he was like, taking some sand out, like looking at it. Yeah. So I think he tried to get as perfect as it could.
So maybe if he had just taken the idol off, then maybe the podium maybe like would have like rose, like, because the pressure's not there. It has to have a certain balance.
I think he should just grab the thing and ran. I think that he should have known, like, there's just no way I'm going to get this perfect to where it's, I'm going to trick the jungle mechanics.
It was a good try, though.
It was a good try.
It was a good try. It's a good scene.
Yeah. But ultimately he makes it. And then you get that funny scene with him and the one guy that followed him into the temple.
Yeah.
But he's also, about the money. He's like, oh, throw me the rip. Throw me the idol.
No time to argue.
Yeah. Right. Of course. Got betrayed.
Okay. So, it starts with that. Grabbing the idol. Escaping. The big ball comes rolling down on him. Awesome. That alone is just an amazing scene.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's one of your favorite awesome moments?
Yeah. The opening. It's funny because like the opening scene does nothing for the rest of the movie other than it just tells you who Indiana Jones is. But the opening scene is so freaking awesome.
Well, it sets up the whole thing with Belloq.
That's true. You're right. It does. You get to meet his rival.
Yeah. Keeps stealing his stuff. Yeah.
French rival, and he's like all in white, and it's different. He's like the anti Indiana Jones, and that's when we learned that Indiana Jones, he's just doing it to put in a museum. He's not doing it for the money. But another scene that I love about is Indiana Jones is full of action, but there's these little dramatic moments in it too.
Yeah.
That really grabbed me. Like even when he's talking to the feds, or I don't know, the government guys.
Yeah.
And they're saying, yeah, Hitler's going after the Ark. And what is the Ark? And like just hearing him explain what the Ark is.
Yeah, and then when they realize he knows what's going on, and they kind of go, "Oh, this guy knows."
Yeah,
just the look on their faces is just great.
Yeah, and then him setting him up about like when like what we talked before with Brody saying like this isn't, this is nothing like you've gone after before. This is not to be taken lightly. There's something to this. There's real power. It's not some gold trinket. And of course he like laughs him off.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's gonna happen.
Cool. You're trying to scare me.
Yeah. So, but there's something eerie about that conversation, right? Mm-hmm. That Brody's having with Indy.
Yeah.
And just again, it's just all these things that build up, and then, man, Belloq's the villain, but the other guy, which I feel like I can't pronounce his name. Like I know his name, the guy with the Nazi guy with the glasses. Yeah. Like he's just some nerdy Nazi guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know of any other movie that guy has been in. But yet he's so iconic as this leather wearing Nazi villain that I think it's like Teot, or I don't think they say his name in the movie at all.
I don't know what his name is. No.
But I know it's like TOHT or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the nerdy little Nazi guy, that Hi Fräulein, like he's just sickly looking. He's disgusting. He's a good villain. And
now he first comes on the scene at Marion's cantina. I think this is the first we see him. Well, the very first time we see him is when he's peeking over the Life magazine in the airplane.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is supposed to be him, but really wasn't him. It was played by somebody else.
Oh, shoot. I did not know that.
Oh, I almost made that a trivia question.
Oh, you should have.
Okay, do you know who played the part?
No.
It's Dennis Muren from ILM, one of the effects guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
He was the only guy that could actually, I guess somebody tried to do it, and it's like, no, do it like this. No, do it like this. And so Dennis Muren sat in, put the glasses on, lowered the magazine and gave that little look, and it was like perfect.
So like they filmed all these other scenes with that actor, and then they just couldn't get him again to do that scene?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like why wasn't the original actor playing that guy?
I don't know. I don't remember what the story was. Like he couldn't. Maybe he didn't do it right, or he wasn't available for the day.
Oh, interesting.
But Dennis Muren just stepped in and just said, "I'll do it.
Wow,
I'll do it like this."
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole cantina scene's awesome. I mean, from beginning to end, the gunfight and the back and forth between Indy and Marion,
which
everything.
Again is another great setup to a great character.
Yeah.
Like you learn who Marion is just while she's having this drinking contest with these Nepalese people.
Yeah.
And she's drinking them under the table, and she owns this bar.
She owns a business. She's tough.
Yeah, she's tough.
She doesn't put up with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great intro to a great character. So I'm a big Marion. Like I like the other movies, all the other girls. I couldn't, like, I can't stand the girl in Indiana in Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
She just annoys me.
She's just whiny.
Steven Spielberg ends up marrying that girl. But yeah, like when I think about like good love stories, I always think Indy and Marion.
Yeah.
And that's, well.
Yeah, and they just have great moments together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the ship when he's worn out.
Yeah.
And he's beat. And she spins the mirror around and smacks him in the face. It's just so good. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the other things I like about it is you feel the pain that he's going through.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like some superhero character where he's just going nonstop action, keeps going. He gets to the end of his day after doing all this stuff, and he's beat.
He is beat.
And he is worn out.
Yeah, he's a school teacher. He's a college professor.
Yeah,
no college professor should be doing these things, but yeah, he's just let's do it.
Yeah.
But going to that point, one of the funniest scene, one I think is the funniest scene, is they're escaping. They're trying to get on the plane, and the Nazi plane, and then there's the big bald Nazi guy that like come fight me.
Yeah.
And then you just see Indy go like, oh, And it wasn't like the guy was coming after him. Like Indy could have just kept going to try to steal the plane.
Yeah.
But Indy knows, like, I got to fight this guy. And like he just shrugs and he just slowly slides off the plane.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, let's go.
And the fight was great. And you think, oh man, Indy's just fighting dirty. He's throwing sand in his face. Yeah. He's biting him on the arm. He's kind of like Bugs Bunny and the.
Yeah.
But it's great.
It's great.
And he doesn't like do like fancy moves. He's like some super. It was like a real fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, what makes these movies stand apart is the sound from the punches, right? There's a specific. Oh my god.
Specific.
Yeah, that's the word. Sound, right, from an Indy punch.
Yeah, but not only the punches, it's his gun too.
Yeah, the
when
gun
he's in the
does
cantina,
sound good.
It sounds like a cannon.
It
it's
does.
like super cool.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And just so many moments, like they're fighting in there. They shoot the barrel of wine and it's pouring out. And Marion takes a drink. The guy's got Indy's head on the bar, and then the flames coming towards his head, and she's on the other side of the bar.
Whiskey.
He's all whiskey. It's just like, how good is that, right? Yeah. It's just so great. And then there's just so many good like one-liners that I'm sure that they, but like he's getting ready to go after the truck. They just loaded up the Ark, and he's taking off. He says, "What are you going to do now?" I don't know.
Making this up as I go.
Making this up as I go. It's just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, again, it makes Indy, relatable and real. Like he's just he knows his field, but yet like this whole action stuff, he does it because he has to do it.
He has to do it
because no one else is going to do it.
Yeah,
but he doesn't. He's not that's not his field. He's not a master in it.
Yeah, he's not like a trained assassin fighter. No, he's an archaeologist, and he's doing what he has to do. He needs to get it, whatever it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Beginning to end, so good.
So another reason that makes this movie amazing, I know, us working at a church, and even just like as they tackle, themes like the Ark and then like the Holy Grail, those are like just really cool visual representations. But I do think that there's like this huge theme, and I was trying to think of like, okay, so what's the theme in this movie? And I mean, I can come up with some stuff, but I want to talk about like his life as a whole. So looking at his life as a whole. So I'm sure you know this, but maybe a lot of you listeners don't. But even though Temple of Doom was the second movie made, it technically is a prequel.
Right,
it's supposed to be his first adventure. Not his first adventure, but at least his first movie adventure. So I mean, they do it like it shows the year that Temple of Doom was. So Temple of Doom takes place before Ark, before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Did they put a date on that?
They
one?
do.
Was it late 20s?
Something like that.
I'm just kind of curious what it was, but
so if you take that story, like I love Temple of Doom. Like if Raiders of the Lost Ark didn't exist, I'd probably just as be in love with Temple of Doom. I know a lot of people don't like it. They think it's a dark movie.
It's dark and it's gross, but it's
I love
good,
it.
Though. Yeah.
And there's a part of me thinks that maybe I saw that movie before I saw that one as a kid, but I don't know. But anyways, because like the monkeys and the monkey brains.
Yeah, there was a lot of grossness. And
anyways,
yeah.
But we do see a different Indiana Jones. Okay, he's not the archaeologist. There's no really connection to him to being a professor, right? He's kind of there, trying to get. In fact, he's giving up. In the very beginning scene of Temple of Doom, he's given up like what should be in a museum, right?
Right.
He's giving up like the remains of some emperor, right? Like that's an honorable thing. And what is he getting in return? He's getting a diamond.
He's getting a diamond, which
so that's like payment. Sense. That's money.
Yeah.
Right. So, and he even says it to the kid, to Short Round. He goes, "Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory."
Which is odd. It's a little out of place for his
But
character.
let's just say this is his growth, right?
Right.
So that's him in the beginning. That's just who he is, and maybe that's how he learned how to fight and go on these adventures and be a man of the world and and then he grows up and, gets a little bit more serious, but now he's in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like I said, he's trying to get this piece to be put in a museum, right? He's not trying to make money off of it where Balak is.
Yeah, he's more into the history.
He's more in the history of it. I mean, yeah, he is taking a sacred artifact from a people, but beside the point. The 30s were a wild time. But he's being, respectful of it.
Right.
And then throughout the whole movie, it's just him being respectful of what they're looking for, So now he's going to look for the Ark. Yes, part of him wants to find the Ark, but he's also in it it's a race against evil, right? Hitler can't have this.
Yeah, he doesn't want the bad guys having it. It needs to be.
But there's still a part of him that is like, well, this is going to be an amazing find. I'm going to get notoriety. He'll get like other book deals, or that's how he'll make his money. But obviously, he's not going to sell the Ark. But at the same time, it's a race against evil, and throughout the whole movie, that's maybe how he starts. But then at the end, he knows, just how important it is, and knows its power, and even to the point of like, he tells Marion, "Don't look, don't open your eyes, because what's about to happen is going to get crazy, right?"
Right, some bad stuff's going to happen.
Yeah. So that's another thing of growth, and then we get into Last Crusade, and we have that opening scene of the late River Phoenix, and being the young Indiana Jones, and he has that idealistic, this cross belongs in a museum, but then he has that weird relationship with his father, and he knows that his dad was just obsessed with finding the Grail. So I don't know, maybe something throughout then at that point he got into it for the money. But then by the time we get to the Last Crusade, he has that moment again. All right, am I going to go for the notoriety? Am I going to go for it? Or am I going to save my dad?
Yeah, he becomes more interested in relationship.
Yes, more interested in relationship. People. Yeah. And he lets it go, and it's not, so I look at that like that. To me, that is like the growth of our walk with God, right? Like, and like, I think a lot of times we are expected to make quick changes. And I think there are a lot of things that we do need to make in our life when we confess and we want to, follow God, but we can say we can make those confessions. We can say we can make those changes, but it's not necessarily easy all the time. And what I love about these movies is it does show him, slowly make that change. I mean, for him, it was a course of 3 movies, but, and I think it's fair for all of us, I mean, and I think God is okay with that. I think God is, look, your walk is your walk. Yes. Do I want you to keep walking forward? You might take a couple steps back, but still face forward. And however long that takes is however long it takes. So I don't know. I might be reading into that way too much, but I don't know. What do you think?
No, that's good. I do, you do see a change in his focus, through the 3 movies. That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that.
On a personal level with these movies, and why, I don't know, I feel like they mean so much to me, is these first 3 movies came out in a time when I'm a young man and I'm looking for adventure, wanting, not necessarily, wanting that life, but the opportunity, right? To go on an adventure, like being in the mountains or walking around or playing with friends. And then in like 2008, when Crystal Soul came out, I'm already married and I'm starting to settle down. And that's kind of where Indiana Jones was at. He is not necessarily the adventurer anymore. He's more of the teacher, and those adventure days are kind of like they're winding down for him, and he's starting to be more, more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of hit me in a time of life when, okay, I'm starting to, be more grounded, I guess. And then with Dial of Destiny, which is like, now he's at the very end. And not to say that I'm at the very end, but I'm at the, now I'm, I have kids of my own, and it really is that it's more, about them and, what I can do for them. And so I don't know. So it's just, again, I left the theaters sad just because it's over, not because I felt like it was a crappy movie. It was more just, that's it. Wow. Like,
yeah. Because you see his life.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot from these movies. Just, like being okay to make things up as you go. Not to have all the answers, but just to do it because no one else is going to do it. If no one else steps up, that's like my kids. Like, who's going to raise my kids? No one. I have to do it. Mm-hmm. There's no like, let me think about this. I'm making this up as I go.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest, I think, lesson, observation. What's cool about Raiders of the Lost Ark and his character is that, and like I said, one of my favorite quotes is, I'm just making this up as I go.
Yeah.
In every scene, it's just, you just figure it out.
Yeah.
Just figure it out. We're doing this.
He's like, yeah, I guess I will wrap my whip underneath a truck and I'll slowly just, this is how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like you probably thought that through.
But I mean, that says a lot about just a person's personal life, just like growing and growing up, you're going to drive a car. Kind of scary. We're just going to do it.
You just got to do it.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything in life is scary.
Yeah. But you just do it.
You just do it.
Yeah. And you make it up as you go.
And you make it up as you go.
Yeah.
Which I think for a lot of kids, like, and their parents, they don't realize that that's what parents do.
No, yeah, right. Yeah. But that's the thing, though. I mean, when you're in high school, you don't know what career you're going to follow. But you step out and start doing it, and one thing leads to another. But you're making it up as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
That's good stuff.
I just know, like, for me, like, I'm in my 40s now. I'm gonna get older, and I wish there would be another Indiana Jones movie later in life that can teach me what. I don't know, but yeah, I just wasn't done with these movies, and freaking Harrison Ford is. So, thanks a lot, Mr. Ford. Yeah. All right, Jim, do you have any movie magic?
You want some movie magic?
I do want some movie magic because I feel like you're gonna bring the magic today.
So, movie came out early 80s. What did we say? It was 81, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so at the time I think I was working on Rocketeer. It was early 90s, and working in a model shop, props, gags and sets and special effects and stuff. So what came through the shop, and what a lot of model shops do, is they share things from different movies. So what came through the shop was one of these, the Idol from Indiana Jones. So somebody somewhere at ILM made a copy, gave it to their buddy. They made a mold. And somehow it ended up, from Marin County all the way down to L.A., was a copy of the Idol. So everybody in the shop got the copy of the Idol, and we made a mold, and everybody's got a copy.
Yeah.
So this one here, for those watching this on YouTube, this was cast from the original.
That's cool.
There are many different fan-made versions out there, but this one's cast from the original, which is super cool.
That is super cool.
Super cool. And then the other thing that I got was, and you're not going to be able to see it if you're listening, but on YouTube is the headpiece to the staff of Ra.
Yeah.
So, you kind of question this stuff if it's authentic or somebody just made a copy of it. But there is, there's some good books out there. This is an ILM book, Archives, Indiana Jones and Star Wars Archives. They have a great picture of it, and you can compare it to the photos, and yeah, it definitely is the one from the film, or a copy. The only thing about this one and this is the reason why I haven't finished it or painted it or anything, is because it's small.
It's small. Yeah.
It's really small. And you can account for shrinkage, because when you mold something, typically the original part is made out of clay. A silicone mold is made, and then it's cast in a urethane resin. Well, the mold shrinks slightly and the resin shrinks slightly. So your first mold, your first set of parts will shrink, but it's unnoticeable. You can even mold it again and again a few times, and you really won't notice the size. But when something gets passed down from one shop to the next year after year, parts start getting really small. So this thing's really small, and it doesn't make any sense why, be that small. But yeah, it's shrinkage. The other theory I have is that when you take this thing and you put it in the palm of your hand, it's the perfect size of your hand.
Okay.
Which makes me think that it's possibly this could be a version that they took the original and made a silicone mold, and in the silicone mold you can add mineral spirits to it, and it'll actually shrink the mold so you can make a smaller part.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite possible that this piece is a shrunk version for the purpose of making the prosthetic of the burnt handprint, because you put it in your hand and it's really, and when you see it in the film too, the medallion fits right in the palm of his hand, and you do get all the markings on your hand. If this thing was the full, 4.3 inches like the Hero one, you wouldn't get the full imprint in your hand.
Yeah.
So, two reasons why it may be smaller. So
that makes sense. I like that theory.
That this is
the hand.
This is the hand one.
Yeah.
So at some point I'll work on this and
make a copy.
Yeah, make a copy to preserve it, and then make a bigger. There are ways you can expand rubber. Doesn't work as good as shrinking it, but try to make a full size one as well. So, but anyway, that's super cool because it's a production casting. It's not a fan made one, so that's super fun.
Yeah.
And then the idol itself is.
So you were kind enough to give me an idol. Was that idol based off of this one?
It was out of the same mold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And the weird thing about this one here is it's incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
Because I put lead weight in it to make it more authentic, but I put way too much in. So you can't.
So you don't know what the sand ratio is for that one.
No.
Yeah.
No. And then the other cool thing about this particular prop is in the movie, and I don't know how many people notice it, but when he first approaches the idol in the chamber, there are real human eyes in it.
Yeah.
Which make it really creepy and spooky. And I think a lot of people didn't notice it until they started getting more high definition TVs and copies. But it's got real eyes in it, and they kind of look side to side ever so slightly.
It does. It like slightly
ever
moves.
so slightly, and it makes it look really creepy. And I don't think people ever notice that why it had that look to it. So someday I want to mold this and then do a version with the eyes. That
would be cool.
Yeah, and maybe a sensor that would follow you from one end of the room to the other. That would be great. So,
yeah.
So anyway, that's my movie magic.
That's cool
for Raiders.
All right. Well, I feel like this is going to be a big movie battle because this is a movie that we've talked about for years, and we love, and I think that the winner is going to be the ultimate indie fan. I mean, yeah, you got the props, but
yeah. This was hard. These questions were super hard because it's like,
it's
like nobody's gonna know that.
I felt the same way. I felt the same way.
Gonna know that,
I had to really dig deep.
So I hope my questions aren't too stupid.
Yeah,
but
all right,
we'll see.
Why don't you go first this time, since you are older and you saw the movie before I did?
Okay. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take that. Okay.
So if you do win, you technically have an advantage because of you've seen it more.
Is this a movie you watch every year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for me too. Yeah, it's every year.
I'll either watch it around Easter or sometimes it's like my birthday movie that I'm like, I'm going to stay at home and pop this in.
I need to do the math and see from the time the VHS came out and I watched it every year, how many viewings is that? And that's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. All right. Now let me look at my questions here. Let me pick one. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with my last question. Here we go.
Crap, I'm already scared, to be honest with you. I don't want to lose this one, but go ahead.
All right. The Peruvian guide, Barenka?
Okay, I didn't even know his name was Barenka.
Well, I didn't know.
So I'm already
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. He's the guy in the beginning of the movie that tried to kill Indiana Jones from the very beginning. Before we even see Indiana Jones' face, right? That guy?
Yeah.
Okay. He played another notable character in the movie. Do you know what character that is?
It was the guy with the patch.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I did know that.
The one-eyed assassin monkey man.
Yeah, actually, I don't know his name, but I do know it was the assassin monkey man.
He's the one-eyed assassin monkey man.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know that.
Woo! All right.
See, if you had asked me, I would have known that.
All right. Here's a... Do you want an easy one? I'll give you an easy one
I
first.
don't care. Hit me.
Okay. What are the words that are written on Indiana Jones' student in the classroom? All the women are like in love with him, and one girl blinks and she's sending him a message. What are the words on her eyelids?
That's so easy.
I know. This is my easy
so
one.
Easy.
Okay, then say it.
Love you.
Oh, I love you too,
And
Jim.
it was hilarious. When I saw it in the theater, I was just like, oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently that was an ad lib. That actress did that.
Oh, shoot.
She
really?
was just supposed to look at him and look lovingly at him. And no, she wrote on her eyelids. And then that was her idea.
Wow. Okay.
Isn't that great?
That is great.
That's awesome.
All right. All right. 1-1.
1-1. Oh, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
All right. All right. You probably know, but I'm going to ask it anyway. All right. The exploding head death scene at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we talk about this real quick?
Yeah, let's talk.
Let's talk about this
Okay.
scene. Okay. This is the first time I've noticed. Did we already talk about hot dog fingers?
Yeah, you did mention
Oh,
that.
never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we already talked about hot dog fingers. Sorry, folks. Okay. Okay, so the exploding head death scene at the end of the movie was pretty graphic.
Mm-hmm.
And it earned them originally an R rating, but they fixed it. Do you know how they fixed it?
They fixed it. Yeah, I didn't know they originally gave this a hard rating. I mean, I know they did that with Temple of Doom and they created the PG-13 label, but I didn't. But that was a Temple of Doom. What did they do with this?
Oh, see, I thought for sure you'd get this. They added a layer of fire effects over it to kind of mask it.
Oh,
so it wasn't
they
so
did
graphic.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I probably didn't notice the hot dog fingers either.
Someone was just like, all right, that's fine.
You gotta like tone this down. You gotta tone it down. So they kind of hit it a little bit.
Oh.
All right.
Dang it. Okay.
All right.
All right. What year did this movie take place? So when we were talking about it, you mentioned it, and then you're like, oh, something I like. I'm not saying it because like this is one of my trivia questions. I'm like, oh, something like that.
Okay, but do you know the year that Temple of Doom?
Yeah, I do.
What year was that?
I'm not going to tell you until you answer this question.
All right. It's 1936.
Unbelievable.
Did I get it? No.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay.
Dang it.
I know it was 1930 something. 1936. Yeah. Okay, so then Temple of Doom would have
34.
To be... Oh.
Yeah.
See, I would have put it earlier than that. 34.
Shoot, maybe it's 32. Oh, anyways. Dang it. Okay.
I know the car, because the car was a late 20s model. That Short Round was driving, so I kind of put it late. But then, of course, it's an old car, so yeah. Huh. All right.
All right. Well, what's your next question?
You may or might not have noticed it, but I sure did. Okay, so when the truck that was carrying Marion in the basket gets out of control, tips onto its side, and explodes. The special effects department had a rig to get that truck to tip over, and you can see it in the movie. What is it? They had to do something to tip it over.
Was it a crane? Crane. I don't know.
All right, there's a pole sticking out of the bottom of the truck that they set a charge that basically it pushes out of the bottom of the truck to tip the truck over.
Oh, that comes out of the truck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then normally they do like an explosive charge to blow the pole out the bottom to tip the truck over. But when the truck tips over, it's just hanging out of the truck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Oh, I did not know that. Dang it. All right, well. 1-2. I guess I'm gonna lose this one. But I'm gonna ask you this question anyways.
All right.
What is the word Indiana Jones is teaching in the classroom? And he's teaching about a specific word, and he writes it on the board. What's that word?
I can't ask you a question because I'm thinking like it's the word he's trying to spell on the chalkboard and he's checking his spelling. Neolithic? It's Neolithic. That's my answer.
It is. It is.
Right on.
Oh, congratulations. You won.
Of course I won.
Yeah.
Of course I did.
Quite curious, though.
This is the only movie poster I have up in my house.
Curious.
That's how much I know.
Would you have known what Professor Ravenwood's first name was? Marion's father.
Marion's father. Abner.
Yeah.
Abner.
And would you have known where the Ark was being held?
Tanis?
No, like the actual place, not the city.
The Well of the Souls?
Yeah, you would have known that too.
Yeah.
And one question I thought you were going to ask me, but you didn't. But do you know what JOCK's snake's name was? You have to know this one.
Oh, I totally know. Reggie.
Yeah, it's Reggie. That's
where we named one of our public characters.
Reggie.
Pet.
Yeah.
Reggie. Yeah.
If you would have been like, I don't know, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations.
I'm curious about the bonus question now.
Did he have a bonus question?
Since I seem to know all the answers.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this. Where's it at?
It's in the land speeder.
That's the answer. The question's in the DeLorean.
Oh, the question's in the DeLorean?
All right, give me the DeLorean.
It's a DeLorean.
All right, Master of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the Master of Indiana Jones. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Oh, this is easy.
Is it?
This is like, I knew this answer like as a kid.
Oh, man, okay.
What lettering is on the side of the seaplane in the beginning of the movie?
Oh, it's OB C3PO or
Yeah, there you
3P.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was thinking about that, but that was too easy.
Yeah.
'Cause I know you would know.
And then, that was one thing I remember learning really young is like all the Star Wars stuff that's connected to this and all
the
the
little
movies.
R2D2 and C3PO hieroglyphics
Yeah.
carved in the.
That's funny because like my kids are always like, all right, we got to pause it because they always want to see it.
Somebody told me that it was in that scene, but they told me it was in a different part of it, so I could never ever find it. It was in a different scene.
The minute you see it, like I can never unsee it now. It's always, that's where my eyes go.
It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jim, what is your ranking of this film?
Oh no, I didn't rank it.
Oh, for real? You have to rank it?
I totally forgot to rank it.
Okay. Well, to me, it's a 10. This is one of my few 10s in movies that I have.
Should I go get my sheet and do it real quick? Do I need my
Is
sheet?
it not a 10 in your world?
Well, let me think.
Or are you just hung up on how it's calculated?
No, because I when I do my list,
Yeah.
it always nails it. It's like a true
Okay.
it's a true rating. And okay, let me just think real quick. Soundtrack, rewatch. I rewatched it immediately. Soundtrack, cinematography. Yeah, this is a 10.
It's perfect in every single
it is.
box.
And
There's
and
nothing you can change about this movie.
Yeah, and especially watching it again for the 100th and some time, beginning to end, it's flawless.
Yeah. I guess you could take out the pole that knocks the truck over. But I actually like that kind of stuff in movies.
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't like them when they took the pole out of the boulder.
The boulder.
Yeah, when it's rolling. I like
Yeah.
to see the wires. That's
Yeah,
fun stuff.
it doesn't take anything away from the
It's
movie
all
when I
part of
see that stuff.
the movie making
Yeah.
process, the
I
art
agree.
of it. But yeah, no, it was perfect beginning to end.
Perfect movie.
Yeah.
All right, well, have any final thoughts on this movie or Indiana Jones in general?
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It just really is good.
Yeah. For me, it's just when you think of like movies that make you, you know, like you're in your life and just everything. Like this is one of those movies that like it goes on my list. Like this is the movies that made me. I'm sure you, especially with what you did for a living for so long.
Yeah.
And it's inspired so many other things in life. And I don't know. I mean, I know Harrison Ford is watching and listening to us, and just want to say thank you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
And
the team at ILM.
And the team, man.
Because I think Temple of Doom was more inspirational. I think a lot of the visual effects.
It really was, yeah.
Stuff. And I think at that time when Temple of Doom came out, I'm like, I want to make models for movies. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that was a very pivotal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the world would be a very sadder place if these movies did not existed. So, All right. Well, that wraps it up. Please, if you guys liked this content, please subscribe to us and give us a rating and a like. We'd really appreciate that. Would help us out. And yeah. So yeah, thank you to Harrison Ford, the whole team. And to Steven Spielberg. You blew it. You freaking blew it for not directing the last one.